I activate Mystical Space Typhoon! Fire!
What's up guys? Welcome back to Toon, Duelists. Today I'm going to show you my Radiant Typhoon deck profile. I'm super excited to show this one to you guys for various reasons. First of all, I can't even remember when was the last time that an archetype came out that amazed me so much that I had to get it right away on its release. But of course, with Radiant Typhoon, I just had to, and we have a lot of reasons for that as well. First of all, bringing back one of the oldest cards I can remember, Mystical Space Typhoon, in the spotlight and revolving a whole archetype around it is just amazing. I can still remember how we all used to play Mystical Space Typhoon as a 3-off in our old decks around the 2000s, and it was just amazing. And I also remember how we all played it wrong, letting Mystical Space Typhoon just negate spells and traps. And that's another thing I love about this archetype. They gave us a trap that actually makes it possible for MST to negate a spell and trap. Just peak comedy right here. Next up, the archetype completely consists of wind monsters, which was always my favorite attribute. Since I bought the Lord of Storm structure deck way back in the day, I fell in love with wind monsters, my favorite attribute. Then of course the design of those cards is also just amazing. I also love the lore that the spells and monsters tell, because on the spells you can see the regular humans like summoning the winds and channeling the energy to transform to what we can see on the monster cards. Just amazing card design right here. I love everything about it. And finally, the playstyle is peak. I love it so much. The combos are there. You can really play some crazy combos, but they're not too complicated actually. And it's a deck that also has some controlling aspects in it, which I always just love to play. Amazing deck right here. I'm super excited to show it to you guys. It's so fun to play. I really can't remember when I had this much fun last time when I tested a deck. This is really an amazing deck and a powerful one too. I was able to beat some really good decks. Blue Eyes, for example, is no match for this, of course. True Light is the weak spot of this deck when you play against Radiant Typhoon, but I also beat decks like K9 and Yummy, so this one is really a powerful deck in my opinion, and I'm super excited to show it to you guys. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Alrighty guys, as always we start things off with the monsters, and the first one we play is 3 copies of Radiant Typhoon Eldom. Amazing design card and also just an amazing card. Combo starter right here, because this one has the effect that if you have Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard or your opponent controls no spells and traps, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you can only special summon it once per turn this way, and if it is normal or special summoned, you can add a Radiant Typhoon monster, except itself, or Mystical Space Typhoon from your deck to your hand, and you can only use this effect of Radiant Typhoon Eldom once per turn. So just amazing. The summoning conditions are crazy going first. You can just special summon it out, no problem. Even going second, getting a Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard is not that big of a deal. Then of course Monster Searcher, or obviously MST Searcher, just an amazing card right here. Combo starter, definitely run 3, as well as the next one, which is called Radiant Typhoon Sven. Also just an amazing card with the same summoning condition, of course. It can also search MST or any of your Radiant Typhoon spells or traps. So also just a peak card right here. Also a combo starter on its own. Amazing card, definitely run 3 of this one. And for the final level 3 Radiant Typhoon monster we have so far, we also run it, and we only run 2 this time, and it's called Radiant Typhoon Megala. Love the design of this one, as well as the other two, of course. It does have the same summoning condition as the other two. It has the effect that if a Radiant Typhoon quick spell card or Mystical Space Typhoon is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon a Radiant Typhoon monster from a deck with a different name than the monsters you control. Also, you're locked into wind monsters for the rest of this turn. Now, this is also pretty decent, but you don't necessarily need it to go full combo. That's why running 2 is definitely enough on this one. You can easily search it out, so 2 is the best ratio in my opinion. And for the higher level Radiant Typhoon monsters, we obviously run 3 copies of Radiant Typhoon Crozia. Just an amazing card right here. This level 6 Winged Beast monster has the effect that it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect while your opponent controls no spells and traps, which is actually pretty decent, and all of the following effects are hard ones per turn. If a quick play spell card is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon it from your hand, and if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Radiant Typhoon card, except itself, and or 1 Mystical Space Typhoon from a deck and or graveyard to your hand. Also, you're locked into wind monsters. This card is just crazy. On summon, it can search you 2 cards, one of them being MST, and any of your Radiant Typhoon cards. This card is just crazy good. Even if you can't special summon it out because you don't have a quick play spell you can activate this turn, you can just easily tribute summon it because this is a free, this is a free, and this is a free special summon. This card is just amazing. You have to run 3. You can of course also search it, but having it in your starting hand is just amazing. And for the other Radiant Typhoon monsters, we run 1 copy of Radiant Typhoon Veruron the Vibrant Vortex. Also just an amazing card right here, even though I don't like the design that much compared to the others, but it has a great effect and 3000 defense. Has to be mentioned, big body right here, and it has the effect that if a quick play spell card is activated except during the damage step, you can special summon it from your hand. And when your opponent activates a monster effect and you have Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard, quick effect you can negate the effect, and if you have 2 or more MSTs in your graveyard, you can destroy that monster. Also, if Mystical Space Typhoon is activated while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Just amazing card right here. It makes you nip proof. It's a non-target monster effect negate wherever, on the hand, in the graveyard, on the field, doesn't matter. Just peek, even destroys it if you have 2 MSTs, which is not too unlikely. Amazing card right here, but we can search it out. We can even recycle it with its own effect, so 1 is definitely enough. And that's also the case for the final Radiant Typhoon monster we run, which is Radiant Typhoon Phoenix the Great Flame. My favorite Radiant Typhoon monster. I love the design of this one, and it has the pretty powerful effect. If a quick play spell card is activated, you can special summon it from your hand, so same summoning condition as this one, also the same recycle condition as this one, so you can bring it back from the grave when MST is activated. And also, if a quick play spell card is activated, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls and shuffle them into the deck. Now, shuffling into the deck is probably the best removal. You know what? No, it is the best removal you have in the whole game. Of course, it targets. That's a bit of a shame, but to be honest, it would be so OP if it wouldn't target. So great card right here. You definitely have to run it, but obviously 1 is enough. And we round up the monsters with a little bit of hand traps, which is obviously 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring right here. Amazing hand traps still, and I think in this deck even better than Fuvalos. I would definitely recommend Ash over Fuva in this one. And yeah, guys, that's it for the monsters. Next up, we talk about the heart and soul of this deck, which is obviously its quick play spells, and we talk about the Radiant Typhoon ones first. And the first one we talk about is Radiant Typhoon Chant. Amazing artwork where we can see the making of Megala. Just peak card. And this one has the effect as every Radiant Typhoon card that if it is destroyed by MST, you can set it. And of course, if you activate it, you can either search an MST or 1 level 4 or lower Radiant Typhoon monster. Just a great monster searcher right here. You have to run 3 of this, gets you access to all of your great Swens and Eldams. So yeah, definitely 3 of course, as well as the next one, which is Radiant Typhoon Vision, where we can see how Swen transforms. Also just amazing artwork right here. And this quick play spell also can be, of course, revived when it's destroyed by MST. It can search MST, and it also has the effect that you can draw 2 cards, and then if you have a Radiant Typhoon card or quick play spell in your hand, discard 1 of them or your entire hand if you don't. So basically just great draw power right here. Definitely run 3 of this one. And now I'm so excited to finally play those in a deck. We run 2 copies of MST Mystical Space Typhoon. And I thought I've never seen him in a deck again. Of course, I guess I don't have to explain it. Amazing card. 2 is definitely enough. We can search it with any of our Radiant Typhoon cards actually. So that's all we need right here. But yeah, definitely run 2. 1 is not enough. And the final Radiant Typhoon card we run is 1 copy of Radiant Typhoon Manifestation. We only need 1 of this because it's actually the worst of all the quick play spells of the Radiant Typhoon archetype. It again has the same 2 effects, searches MST, if it is destroyed by MST you set it, but it can also send a Radiant Typhoon monster from your deck to the graveyard. This can be a good setup for your big ones, but you don't really need it. But yeah, 1 is probably a good idea because of course you benefit from playing Radiant Typhoon quick play spells also. So yeah, 1 is obviously enough. You can also search it out if you want to. Then for generic quick play spells, we obviously run the best one available, which is 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Amazing one right here. I guess you all know what it does, so I won't bother explaining it. Just an amazing card. Then for a card that is not too known maybe, we also run 2 copies of another Forbidden quick play spell, and it's Forbidden Chalice right here. I'll just explain it. I'm not sure if everyone knows what it does. It has the effect that you target a face-up monster on the field, and until the end of this turn, it gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So just monster negate on a monster on the field. Pretty decent. Then we run another classic. We run 2 copies of Book of Moon right here. You know why. Booking a monster is just always a good idea. It can mess up some Xyz and other extra deck plays. So yeah, just a decent card right here. If you want to, you can also bump up to 3 Chalice and only 1 Book of Moon. But yeah, in my experience, this is actually not that bad. Then of course, we also run one of the other best quick play spells, Called by the Grave to be hand trap safe. Also, amazing card, have to run this in a quick play spell based deck, of course. And we round things up with 3 copies of a non-quick play spell, of a permanent spell actually, which is Fire Formation Tenki. Basically, all it does is search a Beast Warrior for us, and this would be our Sven, which is a combo starter, so yeah, that's the whole reason we run it. Also, of course, Beast Warrior monsters gain 100 attack.
Boring!
And yeah, guys, that's already it for the spells. For the traps, we start things off with the only Radiant Typhoon trap there is by now, which is Radiant Typhoon Mandate. Amazing artwork right here, and also an amazing card because it has the effect that once per turn you can target 3 quick play spells in your graveyard, including a Radiant Typhoon card, and apply the following effects in sequence. Shuffle them into the deck to then draw a card, and all wind monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense this turn. So recycling, draw power, and a little attack boost, decent right here. But the best effect comes now because once per chain, when Mystical Space Typhoon is activated, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls and negate its effects. This is just amazing. MST can now really negate spells and traps. I've waited for this moment so long. Now it's finally here. Amazing card right here. And of course, as every Radiant Typhoon spell or trap, if it's destroyed by MST, you can set it. Amazing card, but 1 is enough. We can search it out if we need it. It's a thing for the grind game, but definitely run it. If you go into turn 4, 5, 6, you will be really happy you have this one right here. And finally, we run 3 copies of one of the most broken cards in the whole game, which is Harpy's Featherstorm. Yes, Crocea is a winged beast. We have some winged beasts in our extra deck, so this card is just a have to, because it has the effect that if you control a winged beast monster, until the end of this turn, negate any monster effects your opponent activates. No matter where, no matter when, all monster effects negated. Of course, if you control a Harpy, you can activate it from your hand, doesn't bother us. And if this card in its own spell and trap zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can also add a Harpy's Feather Duster. But of course, just negating every monster effect the whole turn, this card just locks up the complete turn of your opponent. It's so broken, you just have to play 3. Bringing out Crocea is so easy. We have extra deck monsters you can make with any of your level 3 Radiant Typhoon monsters, so it's also live when you bring out them. We also have a Link 3 that is a Winged Beast monster. You have to play 3 of this card, it's totally broken. And guys, that's already it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we start things off with 1 copy of the Phantom Knights of Break Sword. Now obviously we run a lot of rank 3 monsters right here. This one obviously needs 2 level 3 monsters and has the effect that you can detach a material from this card to target a card you control and one card your opponent controls and destroy them. This is basically all you really need, so if you're in a situation where you really need a card gone, this can be your way out. Next up, we also run 2 copies of number 3 Cicada King. A wind monster, so the luck doesn't bother us. Also generic, just 2 level 3 monsters. And it has the effect, or the only effect we really need, is that when a monster on the field activates its effect, you can detach a material from this card, target that monster and negate its effects. Then you can let one insect monster on the field gain 500 defense or change its battle position. The rest doesn't bother us, it's just a monster negate on the field and can bring this one up to 3000 defense, which is also pretty decent. So yeah, good card. 2 is okay because you don't really need your extra deck right here, so we just run 2. If they have some shenanigans that go into your extra deck, we have another copy. So yeah, that's that. Then we run 2 copies of Totem Bird right here. I'm actually pretty ashamed that I only have 1 in my collection. I really thought I had more, but guess that's how things turn out. Needs 2 level 3 wind monsters, is a wind beast monster, so very good for your Featherstone, and has the effect that during either player's turn when a spell trap card is activated, you can detach 2 materials from this card to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it, and it loses 300 attack while it has no exceeds materials. So just a decent spell trap negate right here. Amazing card, so definitely worth running 2. And the next one is really a shame. I don't understand how I cannot have this card in my collection. So I have to say I would like to run 2 copies of number 75 Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. I really don't get how I cannot have this card. It's not too rare. I don't know how I can't have this, but yeah. Also generic, you can make it with 2 or more level 3 monsters, and it has the effect that once per turn, when an opponent's monster activates its effect, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, and the activated effect becomes both players draw 1 card. The other effect is actually also not that bad, and that's also the reason you want to run 2, because you can target another number exceeds monster you control and attach this card to it as materials, and also transfer its materials to it. So if you have 1 Gossip Shadow out there, used its effect, so it's basically useless, you can bring out another one with, let's say, 3 level 3 monsters and then attach the materials to it so it can activate its effect twice. So yeah, that's a little thing you can do with this effect. But yeah, the important thing is it's a monster negate no matter where. A monster negate, of course, the effect becomes both players draw a card, but it's basically a negate. So yeah, amazing card and definitely a go-to card. You should definitely run this one in your extra deck. Then we come to the basic stuff. We run 1 Typhoon, I guess I don't have to explain him, can be really useful of course. Then we start off with the link lineup, we run 1 IP Masquerena of course, and when there's IP there's obviously also SP, Little Knight, of course it is. Then we also run Nightmare Phoenix, we run 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn right here, all pretty basic stuff. Now the next one is a little bit special, we also run 1 copy of Hrelsvegar, the Desperate Doom Eagle. I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, this Link 3 monster needs 2 or more wind monsters, is a winged beast monster, so good for Featherstorm, and has the effect that it gains 2400 attack while your opponent has no monsters in the graveyard, and quick effect, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. Now this is actually not that bad. If you bring it out soon enough, this can really block your opponent if he plays a deck that revolves around its graveyard a lot. This can really block him against Memento, for example. This can be really powerful right here. And we round things up pretty basic. 1 Access Code Talker. And finally, because you can really spam a lot of monsters, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World is also a nice card to add to this deck. And guys, that's already it for the extra deck. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like and a subscription. This would really mean a lot to us. We're on our way to 1K subscriptions and we want to reach that goal until the end of this year, and it is in reach. So subscription is definitely worth it and it would help out fellow duelists. So why not? It's free. Then of course, if you want to see the basic combo of this deck and how we draw some test hands, definitely check out the video with the link in the description, as well as the Nexus-Replays if you want to see how this deck really performs. Then of course, don't forget to let me know what you think about this deck profile down in the comments below. And yeah, I'd say until next time, have a good one.